Mr. Stephen Harper, the reason you find yourself up against a culture, the cannabis culture to be specific, the reason you find yourself up against these people is because they have aligned themselves with a plant that you have chosen not to like. Now, I wonder why this demon weed, this marijuana that's killing our children and blah blah blah, profits to gangsters. I wonder why you might not like this plant. What could the hemp plant possibly be able to do that might scare you so much? I know what it's capable of. I know that it's capable of producing fuel, food, clothing, rope, paper, medicine, cosmetic supplies, building materials. I could continue, but what's the point? It's clearly obvious that this plant poses a threat, and the people that it poses a threat to are lots of big money industries. Why would mankind want a plant that can supplement the foresting industry? Why would mankind want a plant that can supplement the oil industry, supplement the pharmaceutical industry, provide great food, provide clothing of far superior quality to cotton and all of these synthetic materials that we wear nowadays? Why would we want this plant? I don't know. Maybe because we feel that if we grow everything we need, we'll be helping our planet. Maybe because we feel that if we stop dumping all of these synthetic materials into our environment, we'll be helping to control global warming. Maybe because we like to promote local agriculture by giving farmers the right to grow this miracle plant. Maybe we just like to get high. Who knows? What I do know is that you're not being honest with about anything that you say regarding this plant. You know the reasons behind the prohibition. 1937, Harry Anslinger decides that he doesn't like marijuana. Why? Not for any real reason, but because it threatened big money. It threatened the foresting industry. It threatened the newly emerging oil industry. It threatened the long-loved cotton industry. That's a lot of big industry being threatened by this one measly little plant. How can you take this problem away? Simple. Make it illegal. How can you make this problem worse? Simple. Make anything related to this plant carry a mandatory jail time. What have we learned from the United States? We've learned a couple of things. Mandatory jail times. Clog prisons. Don't reduce the supply. Do not take the kingpins out of the situation. And more importantly, do nothing to protect our children from this evil substance. If you really wanted to protect the children, because that seems to be the only angle you've got left to convince the public that this is a good idea. If you really wanted to keep this horrible substance out of their hands, would it make sense to make it illegal and let anybody and everybody who is willing to take on the risk that's associated with distributing this substance have control of it and let them distribute it? Or would it make sense to have some balls, admit you're wrong, and legalize these substances? Make them hard to get, make them licensed, make them regulated, take them out of the hands of the street dealer, take it away from the kids. It's not a difficult thing to see that prohibition doesn't work. Hasn't worked, never has worked, never will work. And yet, right as the states is getting ready to appeal mandatory minimum sentences because they learned the hard way that they don't work, we're getting ready to bring them in. What sense does this make? None, if you ask me. None whatsoever. And yet, here I am, because there you are. Please, stop the madness. Just legalize. Legalize. Take it out of the street dealer, take it out of the gangster's hands, take it out of the mobster's hands, put it into your hands. Let you have control over who gets these things that you don't want. Make them not illegal anymore. I know that when I was a kid, I thought, whew, this is illegal. It means my parents must not like it, and you know what? I'm not a big fan of my parents right now, so I'm gonna try this. Maybe it'll make them a little more angry. Maybe I'll even like it. Who knows? But I know that I wouldn't like it anywhere near as much if it wasn't illegal, because then it would just be anything else. And what fun is that, right? You want to be breaking the law, living on the edge. Take away prohibition, and there's no law to break. There's no edge to live on. Sure, people are still going to use, but it's going to be people who actually want to use, not just people who get pulled in by this corrupt system. End the prohibition. End the madness. Say no to Bill C-15. Say no to prohibition. And say yes to the salvation of mankind. Let's grow our fuel. Let's grow our clothing. Let's grow our paper. Let's grow our medicine. Let's grow our food. And let's grow it all by growing the same plant. A plant that needs very little pesticides. A plant that does an amazing job of irrigating the soil. The roots in the cannabis plant puncture amazingly far down compared to most other plants. Just end the madness. I'm so lost now as to what I was talking about. You know what? Maybe I'll go smoke some weed. Clear my head up a little. Because I know that listening to you isn't going to help clear my head up. In fact, all it's going to make me want to do is become disgraced to call myself a Canadian. And up until a couple of years ago, I never would have thought I said that. I love this country. I hate its politicians. Think. Think, think, think. When you start thinking, you will realize the idiocy. That's not even a word. The idiocy of what you are doing. And hopefully you will change your ways. Until then, peace and pot. Save Mark Emery. NoExtradition.net. Visit whyprohibition.ca. Get informed. Get involved. Say no to Bill C-15. Thanks for listening, and I hope I made some sense. I don't think I did, but whatever. You're still watching, eh? Good. You know why? Because I got a surprise for you. Never mind, that would be a bad idea. I'm gonna go smoke some weed now. Say no to Bill C-15. Wouldn't want to make it easier for our kids to get our hands on drugs, would we? C-15. Say no. Use your head. Say no. One day I'll be in office. The world will be a better place.